frustrating part out, and then you sit there and you're like, I don't know what happened this morning. I'm not even sure why I'm still at work. And then you're like, okay, I just play it back in my head, chronologically, what happened? And it's like I'm talking to them as I go through my narrative. It's the only way I can get through it when I have so much piled on. Otherwise, I'm just going to sit there with a headache for a while until we get another call and then I'm down 5 reports. So, but it's kind of helped my process at home though. But it does suck because I love work and I love the fact that I literally only work 2 shifts a week. I mean, it's a total of 48 hours, and sometimes we're up all night. But that gives me 5 days that I might have something fall on that I didn't need to ask off for or waste vacation time, which is really awesome. But I get home and I get off of work and I'm always tired. Emotionally, I am drained. It doesn't matter if I did something important that day, if I slept through the night. Emotionally, I am just done. And on my way home the entire time, I'm going to do this today. I'm going to do this today. I'm going to get this done. I'm going to do this. I get through the door. The cats come in.
Yep.
I'm done.
Time management is, I think we're all kind of coming to that too, is
Yes.
time management is sometimes a harder thing to deal with than any of the projects that we do.
Sure.
I mean, just, I live at home and I work from home, and there are days where, I'll admit, I can get lazy. I'm like, yeah, that drawing just doesn't need to be done today.
And then you regret it later.
And then you regret it because then I got
Then
3
you're up
other
all
projects
night.
piled on.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then you're
exactly.
like,
Beat yourself
oh
up
man,
over
I
it.
should have done that,
I had time. Why?
And then you're like, well, when do I manage time I still need to clean the house today. My kitchen's a mess, and I've still got to go run some errands and pay bills and do the mundane,
Pesky real life.
real life
Yeah.
junk that everybody has to do, that cuts into your productive time.
Oh.
And you try to manage that time with your productive time, let alone social lifetime or anything like that. I mean, let alone, let's
What's
just take
that?
take that out of the picture. But just basic day-to-day, or which projects do I do first? I've got 3 paying projects, all with a similar due date. Do I do the graphic design job first? Do I go do the photography gig? Do I sit down and do the cover painting? Which one do I? Well, then you got to kind of, what mood am I in? Well, I guess I'm more in the mood to kind of take pictures today and not draw and paint today. So okay, I'll do that one. Oh well, but this one needs to get done a day before man. Then you're pushing your creativity towards this side instead of this side.
And that's when you nap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then, yes, and that's what I'll do.
Bring
I'll get
your
so
soul
frustrated and overwhelmed that I'll just go take a nap and deal
And
with
they
it.
actually, it's really funny.
Option D, none of the
Absolutely
above.
nothing, yeah.
Well, it's
nothing
really
at
funny
all.
because they say the overwhelming physiology of depression.
Yeah,
You are you may not be depressed, you may not be clinically depressed, but when you sit there and you look at something and it overwhelms you so much, instead of getting it done, you're like, I'm gonna nap.
Yeah.
That's actually
Yeah.
clinically what
Yeah.
happens, and that.
Yep.
And I think honestly, and this sounds really weird, when it's just me and it's my projects, and I know I have a deadline for
Yeah.
myself, but it's not that big of a deal. Because I don't feel like I'm letting anybody else down.
Right,
What
if you
really
don't. Right.
frustrates
Yeah,
me
yeah,
is when
yeah.
I have to deal with other people's projects that they want me to do.
right.
Because, I'm like,
Well, that's
okay.
creativity on demand.
Oh,
Yes,
One
absolutely.
thing
exactly,
to-
exactly.
And I love
Ebb and flow
designing for
yourself,
people and I
sure.
love doing stuff, but I hate it when I'm in the middle of doing something or something's happened today, I have important stuff to do, and all of a sudden I get a message. Hey, how's such and such going? Well, I told you yesterday that
Yep.
this and this, and I'm just like, I try to be really nice because, you want these customers to come back. You want them to tell other people how awesome so-and-so was.
Right.
But it's so frustrating when you're sitting there with all these other projects and you're like, this project is the most important.
Yep.
But it didn't come in first. You've got this project over here that person thinks is the most important. And then you're like, well, this is the creative process. And if they're not a creative person, they don't understand what the creative process is. And then you get those people over here where you're like, if it weren't for the fact that I needed to make a living, I would probably not even do commissions, honestly. But it's like you get those people where you know what materials go in. You know what time and effort goes in. You know just how painful sometimes the creative process is. And then they're like, well, I'll give you $5 for that. Well, it's worth $500. Oh, well, I can't pay that.
Yep.
Well, I apologize, but and then you lower your prices because you have to eat eventually, and it makes you feel frustrated about the whole process and everything, and then you just start hating people and you get cynical.
Yeah.
You'll appreciate
Like
my...
creativity is cynical, but
Right.
yeah, I mean, and I love customers and I love the ones that are exceptionally reasonable. But I think,
understanding of the creative
Absolutely.
process, because you do get some like that, and you're so gracious when you do get a good customer like that, or a good company you're working with, or whatever, the case may be. You do, because
absolutely.
there's so many more that aren't, than the ones who are, that you're just like,
oh, and the worst part about that though, is once you have that frustrating customer,
Yeah.
your standards are set to that one. So you treat
Yeah,
every
yeah,
customer as
yeah.
though they're going to react like
Yep,
this one.
you do.
Even though they're super understanding, and you put frustration on yourself that never would have
Never
been there
needed to
with
be
this
there.
particular person, and it sucks.
It
I mean, it
does.
really does, because I had one woman, that I'm working on a custom project for, and I felt bad that it's taking longer than normal. But the setup was, normally I get all my yarn and stuff from local places, and I match colors, and I mean, I go out and I hunt, because I want this to be what they're paying for.
right.
And instead of me going out and doing it, they're like, oh, well, I did some research and I found some yarn online that's 100% alpaca that I'm going to need you to order for me. Okay, but you're going to have to pay for it. Oh, that's fine. Well, then we've got, a week and a half for it to get here, and then it's not the right size, which I already warned them about, but they don't understand it, so we're going to do it anyway because that's what they want. And so you get this long process, and I feel bad because it's taking so long. So I told her, well, don't worry about shipping, I'll take care of it. But in the end, in reality, it's taking longer because it was a situation that I didn't even set up. But you get frustrated because you don't want people to be upset, and I think that's the biggest frustration.
Yeah, and
So-
being a creative person, whether you're a writer, artist, costumer, it doesn't matter, it all works the same way. One of the biggest frustrations is you always want that customer's approval. You always want to be liked by everybody.
Sure.
It's a mental state. You want to create work that just, everybody's going to love this, and it doesn't always happen. You do get the occasional customer that's like, man, that just doesn't, or company or whatever, that's like, that's just not what we want, or whatever. And you're just going to have that once in a while project that you just can't nail it for them. No matter how hard you try or whatever. And as professional as you are and everything else, it doesn't matter. Their vision or lack of, you just can't nail it for them.
It's human nature.
It
absolutely.
is.
And that's the thing too, because as an artist, because I think it is a personality thing.
Yeah.
Because like my husband is not, he plays music, but he could, give two flips about what someone thinks about it, because he's not the straight out creative soul. But there's me who thinks that if I let one stranger down who I'm creating something for, they're going to go into the world and tell everybody just how horrible of a customer service, how horrible my creations are, and all this, when in reality, they're probably perfectly happy with what I might consider subpar work.
Yeah.
And that's, as a creative person, that happens with everyone. It doesn't matter who it is. It's like I go to work, and some of the stuff that I have on Facebook that I think it was really quickly done, or it's not that great in person, this is so amazing. You do such awesome work, and I'm sitting over here critiquing like, that's not even my best.
that's not even my best
It's like, I
work.
can't
Yeah.
let the
I can attest
compliments
to that.
come in. Like, I had one guy, and this is probably one of the greatest things I ever heard. This guy told me, he goes, I don't understand why you do what you do, but you were awesome at it. I was like, if that's not the most generic,
Yep.
awesome compliment
But
I've
it
ever
fits.
gotten.
But yeah, it's
It
like, I'll
fits
take
us.
that. I'll
And,
take that.
but I'm sitting over
Yeah.
here and I'm just like, well, he says this is super awesome. I was like, man, but that seems not right. It was kind of
Oh,
crooked
sure,
here. It's
sure.
doing
We're
this
always
over
our
here. This
worst
isn't
critic.
exact
Oh, yeah.
here.
Yeah,
I,
exactly.
I think we're gonna end up having to
Yeah.
wrap up. I think we got something else coming in.
My quiz show.
I have one last question for all of you.
Yes.
My winning question.
It is a yes/no question.
Okay.
Since
Okay.
you are, I believe, recording this.
Oh,
this is
no.
why I
Oh,
think-
okay.
This is why it's a yes/no. I always believe that we should end a Q&A on a cliffhanger. If any of you are familiar with Harlan Ellison's Dangerous Visions from the 70s, it was a series of short stories written by famous authors whose stories were rejected at the time for being too taboo a subject to be printed and disseminated amongst the public. Yes or no? Do you have a costume that you feel would be taboo to be seen in? Yes or no?
No.
No?
But I'm-
Is there a painting, any type of
I've
painting?
done artwork I wouldn't show in public, yes.
You have?
Oh,
So
yeah.
you have.
Oh, yeah, I've
Because
drawn,
that creative
I've drawn
urge is
porn
there.
and stuff and whatever. I wouldn't show that anywhere.
Oh,
But
yeah,
you have
okay.
things that would be considered inappropriate to
Yeah,
show
oh, yeah,
publicly.
absolutely,
Have you
sure.
ever written anything?
In here, yes. And in fact, that's really sad. I really want to write it.
Are you
There's nothing wrong
shipping
with
in there?
No, I'm not shipping. No
Why?
shipping, no shipping.
Okay, yes, no, that's all I want. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
for your time. I appreciate it.